The US Secretary of State has arrived in Moscow early on Tuesday afternoon. He is expected to meet with Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Wednesday morning Moscow time. It's still not quite clear if he will also meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin is still saying that this meeting isn't planned. But of course, this will be a difficult conversation for Rex Tillerson with his counterparts in Moscow. This visit comes as tensions are running high between Moscow and Washington over the suspected chemical attack in Syria last week. Well, even before coming to Moscow, Rex Tillerson said that Moscow must distance itself from Bashar al-Assad and said that Moscow, and he criticized Russia's relations with the Syrian government. However, Moscow has defended Bashar al-Assad and said that there is no evidence that the Syrian government was responsible for that attack last week. But of course, this is the first time that the US Secretary of State comes to Moscow since the election of Donald Trump, and Russia had many hopes for improved relations under Donald Trump's administration, and certainly there will be plenty to discuss between the two sides here in Moscow. But Syria is set to dominate those talks, and early on Tuesday, Vladimir Putin was speaking at a press conference after his talks with the Italian president, who's here in Moscow as well for talks with Vladimir Putin. He said that Moscow has information that more of what he called chemical weapons provocations are planned in other regions around Syria. Vladimir Putin didn't provide more details about that, and he didn't provide any proof to back his statement. But let's have a listen to what Vladimir Putin had to say about the situation in Syria.
I've said that the US strike on Syria reminds me strongly of events in Iraq in 2003, when US representatives at the UN Security Council alleged chemical weapons were found in Iraq. A military campaign was launched in Iraq after this, and it resulted in the destruction of the country, in the growth of the terrorist threat, and the emergence of ISIL in the international arena.
Well, Vladimir Putin also said that an international investigation into that suspected chemical attack must be held, and he said that Moscow is calling for a United Nations investigation into that attack, and he said the decisions must be based on the results of that investigation. Julia Lyubova, CGTN, Moscow.